Welcome back, everybody. Today we are putting the new Radical Zing Pearl through the paces. If you like what we do, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notifications button, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon. I want to thank Limerick Bowl for their support. If you're in the area, don't forget to visit Limerick Bowl in Limerick, Pennsylvania. A big thank you to Jeff Miller and Ron Hoppy. Don't forget to check out Haley's Pro Shop in Burlington, Washington for world-class drilling and coaching. We tested on a medium house shot and the Kegel Arsenic pattern. First impressions, since the Zing line started, these have been good balls. The question is, how different is this from the hybrid? Alright, so jumping in with the Radical Zing Pearl, I feel like we've seen this before. We tested the Zing Hybrid fairly recently and I found that to be a great ball with a great motion for many bowlers. It uses the core from the Katana line, if I remember correctly, and we like that strong down lane motion as well. And that's the characteristic of this ball. It's strong, and the cover and finish allow a balance to still give mid lane read while still allowing a strong finish. So generally I like balls like that where they don't feel super clean through the mids and then react overly sharply to friction. I like them to blend a little more, but that's the perspective of a lefty. This ball essentially fits in the mid-defined category, and that's the motion I like there. If it's really clean, I might put that in, say, mid-late, if I put it in my bag at all. So to James specifically, who's our Hammer Staffer, the interesting thing is I felt like the reaction we would see from this versus the Hammer Redemption Hybrid would be reversed. Previously, we noted the Redemption line as very forward, but the recent hybrid really was much more angular than the Solid and Pearl. What surprised me was how forward the Zing Pearl was for James. Yes, it's a big volume asymmetric core, but the Solid and hybrid felt more round and angular, while the Pearl felt more forward. James just had to play to its strengths. It just wasn't as round and continuous for James as the Redemption Hybrid, which was an absolute beast. Again, almost the opposite to what I expected. The Zing core just wanted to right itself quickly and roll forward. James was able to strike, but we did see some more deflection than we would like. If he squared up just a touch too much, he would get too strong of a motion. Despite all of that, obviously James struck plenty with the Radical Zing Pearl. There was a clearer limit from the inside because of the more hook set shape. He also tested the more direct up the board shot, say up 5, 6, 7, and I think some styles will mesh more with this. Here it felt archy but still set, and that forward roll was evident. James also tested on the Radical Zing Pearl on the pretty tricky and flat Kegel Arsenic pattern. We talked about this before, where you really need to watch your angles on flat patterns and then eventually kind of chase in. Here I would say that forward roll from the Zing Pearl was also a little tricky for James to manage here. I just think the shape maybe wasn't the best matchup for his game personally, but the ball feels strong enough that you need to get in, but in this case James has to keep his break point in, as that kind of setting motion is pretty aggressive, and so that forward roll will not allow, say, the same recovery as he had with the Redemption Hybrid. Final thoughts. Firstly, I'll say the Zing line looks entirely different from me and others than what we saw here, and I found it extremely versatile. Perhaps with James Styles, it was just a little more forward, whereas for me and for others, it's more angular. Either way, my question at the end of the day was, how different is this ball really from the Zing Hybrid? I absolutely love my Zing Hybrid, and it's in my bag and it fits in my mid-defined category. So is there room for the Zing Pearl? They have the same factory finish as well. For me, the answer is no. I would not have both. For others, that answer could be different. I expect for most bowlers that the Pearl is really pretty close to the Hybrid. So ultimately, it's going to be a pick 'em in my book.